Welcome back to Shorty on the Fly. I am often asked how I manage to achieve consistency in my flies. It is actually not that difficult if you pay attention to the proportions on your flies, and proportions are relatively easy to maintain if you utilize your tie-in points for the different parts of the fly in order to achieve that consistency. If you are able to get the tie-in points consistent, the rest of the fly should fall into place. Let's begin by talking about where to tie in your thread. If you have the dexterity to do so, it is a good idea to start the thread at least one hook eye in length behind the hook eye, and sometimes you might even want 2 eyes in length if you are tying in a deer hair or snowshoe wing, in order to give yourself enough room for a clean tie in and tie off. This creates a do not enter zone, which, if you maintain the discipline to stay away from that space, you will not have the problem of crowding the hook eye at tie off. When it comes to a wing or wing post, you are looking to tie that material in at the 75% point on the hook. In order to locate that spot, wrap halfway back the hook shank, then halfway back toward the front of the hook, and you will be in the correct spot. When tying in a wing or wing post, measure the wing material to get the length to be about the length of the shank of the hook. Tails are generally tied in right where the bend of the hook begins. Dry fly tails are generally measured to be as long as the length of the shank of the hook, while tails on a nymph are generally 1/3 of that length. When tying in a wing case for a nymph, you are looking to tie the material at approximately the 60% point of the hook. I know, that seems as though it is too far back on the hook to some of you, but trust me, it is proportionate to the naturals, and many folks that I know do not leave enough room to create a good-looking wing case and thorax. Another consideration for creating consistent-looking flies is where you tie in the body materials. I generally tie any body material or ribbing material toward the front of the hook and wrap back over it in order to create a smooth, even surface on which to work. If you tie in each successive material at the rear of the hook, you will create an unsightly bump, which probably means little to the fish, but we want to have nice-looking flies when others examine the contents of our boxes, right? Finally, let's talk about ribbing. It is a pet peeve of mine when I hear other very good fly tiers suggest making 4 or 5 wraps when tying in a rib. No, take 4 or take 5 wraps. You can count, right? Then count your turns. Certainly, the number changes based upon the size of the hook, but each fly of the same size should have the same number of wraps. Let's face it, both of these flies will catch fish, provided you can get your tippet through that hole of that crowded hook eye. But we're talking about getting consistent here, so pay attention to the details. When all is said and done, it is up to you to create flies that suit your needs and look the way you want them to. But if you really want to be able to produce consistent flies that are identical to one another, getting those tie-in points right is a great place to start. If you enjoyed the video or found it to be helpful, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment. We love hearing from you. Until we meet again, I bid you peace.